It's one of the most modern and affluent countries in Asia, but when nighttime comes, Singapore sinks into the depths of sin and sleaze like a number of places in this region. Females of all ages and nationalities flood the red light area of the city, a sign of the economic problems engulfing Asia, a sign of the increasing desperation of women.
No, thank you. No, thank you. It's absolutely staggering, the sheer numbers of women openly offering sex for sale on these streets. There's got to be hundreds, if not 1,000, in this small, confined area. There are women here from Vietnam, from China, from Indonesia, from Thailand. And they seem to be doing this quite willingly, but the problem is there's pimps all around here. And the difficulty is finding out which women are doing this voluntarily and which ones are the victims of sex trafficking.
There is increasing evidence showing a growth in sex trafficking of women and girls lured to so-called cabaret and nightclub waitressing jobs and then forced to have sex with clients. Angel was one. She was lured to work in a bar with a promise of big wages. It wasn't true.
Later, I realized that how can I pay my boss by drinking only? So she allowed us to go with customer. Go booking. Booking is go with customer, and I will be forced to do that. To go with customer, because I have to pay them. Booking with my customer. Then we went on hotel. Then I ran away. Then I go back to my house, and my agent doesn't believe me. So she told me, "I don't believe you that your customer did not pay you."
Angel escaped and sought refuge in the Philippine embassy. Her story, though, is not unusual here.
It's quite serious. In the last 3 years, there have been a great increase of the number of human trafficking victims who have sought the embassy's assistance. In 2005, for instance, there were only 59 cases, and this jumped to 125 in 2006 and to 212 in 2007. And that's quite a dramatic increase.